Really proud of the guys tonight to be able to come out and play at that sort of pace on the second game of sort of your weekend swings. Particularly, this was a split weekend on the road, and we struggled with that last week. Felt like our guys paced themselves a little bit. Some of our high minute guys, and tonight, I mean, it was a pace we want to play at, and when we play at that pace, we ironically take care of the ball better. 7 turnovers for the game. We talked about being a war in the paint. Ultimately we won the rebound war. They did have 9 offensive rebounds, but they missed a number of shots. So that's something. And they're really good there, and give them credit with that. They play extremely tough, but this was a good basketball team that we beat today, and they had lost 9 games during this stretch by 9 or less points. They have 2 of the best guards in the league, and when you look at the numbers, J.C. Fuller 3 for 7, 8 points. Garrett Covington 7 for 17. He had 17 points, but we made them both inefficient, and so that was just a phenomenal effort by our guys. And Jon doesn't come out of the game much, and you look at it and you say, oh, Jon only had 2 rebounds tonight, but he was guarding Covington, who took 17 shots and did an absolutely phenomenal job on that, making him inefficient. But great versatile and widespread effort from the guys in terms of contributions. As Greg said, I mean, D'Angelo 9 rebounds, really starting to get a feel for the game, for how we want to play, finding his shots. But I mean, I could go down the line of guys that contributed at a high level tonight. But really proud of these guys' execution and just committing to the team and just playing a team effort tonight.
Coach, I can't remember off the top of my head Michael Calder's stat line, but it seems to me like it was a versatile stat line tonight. Talk about his development over the last 3 weeks or so since he's gotten into a more significant role with Mo Evans being out, and just how he's kind of getting comfortable.
Well, I mean, really, he's had some high-level games over the last 2 years. The difference being is when he's an attack player. Any error he makes, it is an aggressive error, and I love that about him. But what's happened in the past is during some critical times in the game, he hasn't necessarily been in the role. Some he has, some he hasn't. So now being able to play through those, being able to flip the switch after you make maybe too aggressive of a play in a certain situation, be able to make what we call the mature play, probe instead of attacking, pull the ball out, make the extra pass, and he's really gotten better at that. And he's spending a lot of time watching film with assistants, with myself, getting a feel for what he's doing there. But he's played really well during this stretch, and he's been guarding some of the he's locked in on some of the top guards we've faced as well, and done a really nice job on the defensive end too.
Now, obviously, statistically, Landis and Conchar dominate, it seems, every game, and Joe Reed gets his as well. But talk about what it meant to have D'Angelo step up statistically. Calder had a good game statistically, and just get production numbers-wise from different guys rather than rely so heavily on a couple of guys every game.
Well, and that's how we've been playing. And as we've kind of figured out where our chemistry is, without Mo, we've leaned a little bit more on Max and on Conchar, and I've dictated the game a little more, maybe calling some more set plays in times, but I've only done that when we've slowed the ball down. That's literally been dictated by the pace that our team decides they're going to play that night. When we play fast, the way I want to play, the way that we play at our best, they're sharing the ball. It's going to end up in a bunch of different guys' hands. And there's not a guy on our team that can't make offensive plays. And those guys are just becoming more and more comfortable. I mean, D'Angelo knows where his shots are coming, and he's feeling much more comfortable with that, rising up, knocking them down. Same thing with Charles. Same thing with Case. Same thing with Racine. Even Racine came in, and we want him to block shots, change the game on the defense end, rebound the ball, and he came in and made 2 or 3 really impactful plays in there. And Brent just keeps getting better every day too. So, all the way down the line, I could compliment a bunch of guys, but it definitely makes us, more difficult to guard when you have guys like D'Angelo and you're stretching D's.
Now, there's only been one, if I'm correct in this, there's only been one Division I team at IPFW that's won more games than this team has. Are you aware of like the historical achievements of this group as they're happening, or are you focused on, we have Oral Roberts on Thursday and we have Western Illinois on Saturday, and you just...
Are you asking me whether I follow your Twitter and Brett Rum's Twitter? Because I do in fact follow your Twitters. But just making a joke of that. You see the stuff out there, and yeah, I was part of those teams. And I've been selling the story. We are where we are today, not just because of that team where I was an assistant with Tony, but dating back to Dane's years when Ben Botts, who's on our staff, was playing, and they won 18 games his senior year. Going back to Doug Noll, that's where the culture of this program has come and developed, and those guys were a big part of where we are today. And obviously you follow some of that stuff, and honestly, it's nice, but you don't really have time to enjoy it. Those are things you reflect on after the year. We're so locked in on our mantra, and it's been great for this group because we came in with 8 newcomers, and guys that that are returning had to shift different roles, and we've been so locked in on next game mentality. Get better today than we were yesterday, better tomorrow than we were today, and that's really been a great focus versus when they picked us to win the league last year, and everybody's talking about that. No one was talking about this year. Talking about we'd be a solid team, and that was fine with me. And so we've just rolled up our sleeves and gone to work all year. And where we are right now is a result of a number of guys. Like we're winning this year because of what happened from past history, building the culture, but with this group, more importantly, what happened in the postseason, the offseason. Brent Calhoun, Jon Conchar, Max Landis, D'Angelo Stewart. Those guys getting up tons of shots, guys changing their bodies, and I could go down. Like, these guys are committed to getting better every day, and they had phenomenal off seasons, and that's why I think we've surprised a lot of people. We knew what was in our back pocket with these guys. We saw this evolving as the summer was progressing, and so that's what's great. Guys getting rewarded for hard work.
That next day mentality, next practice, the next game, all of one day at a time. Is that how this program, I want to say it's 6 of the last 8 years, this program's won at least 16 games. So there's not peaks and valleys with this program. It's just like you guys get to a certain level and you've been able to maintain that. Does that play into that where you don't focus big picture, you just worry about next practice, we got to get better?
That has been really, we've really, really locked in on it this year. When we went through that 7-game win streak at the end of last year, we did that too. Every season's a little bit different. You get caught up in different parts of the season last year, and we had some of those injuries, and there was that small period we struggled last year, and so, that was hard. You start looking down the stretch, all right, you look at your schedule, like tough schedule, hey, where are you going to get to your next win? And all of a sudden, you start focusing in on the little things again, the details, the next game mentality, and that's where we got ourselves back on track at the end of last year. And what we've talked about with these guys is what the culture of our program has done down the stretch of seasons. You look back over the last 3 to 4 years, and it's somewhere, our February, late January to February mark is somewhere in the high 70s, low 80s percentile in terms of our winning, and that's something that we're really, really proud of. From the regular season.
It's interesting. It's happened under 3 different head coaches. So there's something about this program that's sustained success that, and you don't see that just everywhere.
Well, and we all have some things in common in terms of how we've managed some things and keeping our guys engaged, having fun with them, building equity with them. Guys enjoying being around each other. That helps you sustain the course of the season, because it's a grind. And we've talked about, hey, it's a grind, but enjoy the grind. Enjoy the time with your teammates. Enjoy the road trips. Enjoy the preparation. And as we're preparing today, for some of those guys, for other teams, I guarantee their coaches sound like Charlie Brown's teacher this time of year. And my guys, like, they're locked in, they're eye contact, and we train that. And like, we'll coach them up. I mean, there's some days we've had to get on the line on our game day practice and run guys, to just habit checks. And, this group has been phenomenal because there's not a single guy that rolls his eyes to that. They're on board. They want me to coach them hard. They want me to coach them up. And they've been locked in with the preparation. And this team honestly has prepared harder than any team we've had here. I mean, it's been unbelievable. Usually we've had to taper off as you get because of focus and concentration. This group doesn't struggle with that at all. And I'm not saying there's not an error or a guy who yawns occasionally when I get long-winded or something like that, but it's unbelievable, their focus and the maturity. And that comes from the top down. I mean, in terms of not our staff, but from the top down in terms of our team, that the older guys, Max Landis, Joe Reed, Mike Calder, those guys are really, really locked in right now.
Coach, taking it back from the big picture back to focusing on today, for your players, the way that they closed the first half, was there a healthy frustration in them, and did that carry over into how well you guys came out of the locker room and started the second half?
Honestly, the issues we had defensively were consistent throughout the first half. I mean, the only difference where they made their run was really we didn't make shots. I mean, we had great looks. I mean, Mike Calder knocks down those shots. I mean, he led us in three-point shooting last year on a really good shooting team, and I think he had 3 to 4 looks during that stretch, wide open looks, extra passes, drive into the paint. We took really good shots during that. We were playing with good pace. I just think it's the same thing. Like, people ask me, the other day, hey, are you worried? You came in the last 2 games, you've had, halftime deficits. And they both were different situations. I mean, IUPUI, I thought we played tired. I thought our guys paced themselves in the first half a little bit, some of our heavy minute guys, and that's one of those difficult scheduling issues where, guys are on the bye week. We played 3 teams in a row off their bye week. But then you go to Oral Roberts, and Oral Roberts, like, let's give credit to Oral Roberts. They played really, really well in the first half. And I thought we got good shots, just didn't make them. But our philosophy is that we want to attack. We want to attack you from the second we get the ball through the end of that shot clock until we get a great-looking shot. And then what happens is you wear some teams down. And last week it was Oral Roberts. This week, like, they just locked in. Then we missed some shots. And then over time, the numbers play out. That's my belief. Maybe not over an individual game, maybe not over an individual half, but over the course of multiple games.
You mentioned some things defensively weren't going necessarily the way that you want, but you also mentioned, as you said, making Covington inefficient, and Fuller had a tough time getting his points. So how would you grade out the defense overall today?
I really got to watch film on that. I mean, I don't talk to the team that much about the game just because sometimes I don't see it exactly how it was. I didn't think we attacked help very well. They got some baseline drives, some non-resistant baskets. They got their hands on too many balls. Not just their offensive rebounds, but hands on. I mean, they had 9 offensive rebounds, but they probably got their hands on another 20 where we got to take up space. We had, probably 8 or 9, no shot contest. And there's an 8% difference between a contested and uncontested shot statistically, and we guys just choose, I don't care about that 8%, 8 or 9 times, and that's unacceptable with us.
Yeah. And then I guess last question for me, and I guess it will be a big picture question, is how close is the defense to getting where you would like it to be as you go into this stretch run?
When we shut a team out, then we'll be where I want to be.
Going back on what he was talking about, obviously Oral Roberts in the last few games before this second half deficits down to the wire today, a little bit comfortable lead in the second half. What was that like? Finally have a little bit of comfort with a nice lead, but 10 minutes to go, not having this one necessarily go down to the wire like the last 3 or 4 games.
It's obviously it's nice to be able to get that, and you get to get some other guys some minutes down the stretch and clear bench, and that's great. You like to be comfortable, but at the end of the day, like, I don't care how we do it, and there's a lot of value in tight games, although there's value in putting people away too. And, I feel like we did that tonight. I mean, we went after the jugular tonight, and we didn't turn it into a get mine mentality. Not that this team ever does, but usually there's a shot or two mixed in there, and then, guys don't protect each other or make each other better on the defensive end when you kind of extend a lead and guys start feeling a little comfortable. And I didn't feel like we got there tonight, but it's been good. I mean, this group has won games a lot of different ways this year, and that's just a credit to their consistent toughness that they've shown, and it's a really, really enjoyable group to coach.